Yeah, the murders of Bennylyn Burke and her 2-year-old daughter Jellica shocked and appalled us all. Not only did he callously take the life of a young mother and innocent child, he then sought to escape justice by burying their bodies beneath his kitchen floor. The level of depravity shown by Andrew Innes is way beyond anything myself or my colleagues had witnessed before.
That's all I want to say. If you could please help me, we wish for justice for my sister. It's hard to lose a sibling, a loved one.
Bennylyn Burke, a 25-year-old single mother from the Philippines, and her 2-year-old daughter Jellica were living in Bristol, Somerset, before their lives disastrously intersected with Andrew Innes, a 52-year-old man from Dundee, Scotland. From there, they would be lured into his home, horrifically abused, and eventually lose their lives to his machinations. Just what exactly happened to this young woman and her child? Bennylyn was born in the Philippines in 1996 to a loving family with a brother and sister. She was known widely throughout childhood to be friendly, kind-spirited, and always trying to get others to smile and laugh and enjoy the gift every new day would bring. Working hard through school to make a new life for herself, she was successful in graduating at 18 upon completing her degree, and worked around the clock to build a name for herself and hopefully be able to support her family from the new world she would enter as an adult. Little did she know that this opportunity would come swiftly to her, as in 2015, she met a wealthy landlord from the UK by the name of Lexington Burke, a man almost 40 years her senior, on a dating website. Though taboo, their relationship was blissful and connection undeniable, which led to a quick marriage and surprise pregnancy, which would result in the birth of their beautiful baby girl, Jellica. They would later move back to the UK, however. Their marriage proved far from functional, and by 2019, Bennylyn found herself in a comfortable childcare arrangement, but lost and alone in a land completely alien to her, all on her own with her child. Finding herself a place to stay in Kingswood, just outside Bristol, the one word she would use to describe her troubling situation was freedom. Bennylyn, in the meantime, was known to be a loving mother, closely connected to her family, extraordinarily bright and a caring individual, and like many young people, continued to use dating apps while seeking companionship. It was through the site Filipino Cupid that she encountered Innes. Initially, he'd present himself as kind and empathetic toward their plight, even offering to hire Bennylyn to come work for him. However, Innes had sinister motives, meticulously planning his encounters by targeting women with young children, particularly favoring Filipino women. The turning point came when Innes invited Bennylyn and Jellica to his home in Dundee for the weekend. Initially, their visit seemed to be an ordinary trip, as Innes took them to various Scottish attractions. However, the situation rapidly deteriorated. Innes, who had premeditated his actions based on a disturbing and detailed criteria set, eventually carried out his heinous plan. In his home, alongside her daughter, were brutally and kept in for an unknown amount of time. Until one evening, Innes looked at Bennylyn with such hatred he entered an unfathomable rage, and he stabbed her in the abdomen with a katana from his office, before caving in her head with a hammer he'd purchased days prior. For up to 2 days later, the same fate would befall innocent little Jellica, who was and ultimately with both their bodies being buried beneath the kitchen floor of Innes's home. The alarm was raised when Bennylyn's sister, unable to reach her, contacted the police. When authorities arrived at Innes's residence, he initially obstructed their investigation, but eventually confessed to the killings. The discovery was horrific, and the subsequent investigation revealed the extent of his premeditation, including chilling searches on the internet about chloroform and underfloor storage prior to the murders. During his trial at the High Court in Edinburgh, the evidence presented was among the most distressing to be heard in a Scottish court. Innes initially claimed self-defense, suggesting Bennylyn had attacked him, but this was quickly disproven. His defense of diminished responsibility due to steroid use was also dismissed by psychiatric experts who testified that Innes was fully aware of his actions and motivated by deep-seated resentment towards women who had ended relationships with him or who reminded him of past partners. The jury, after hearing all the evidence, returned guilty verdicts for the murders of Bennylyn and Jellica, as well as for the charges of abuse and related to another victim, a child who Innes had also held captive. And Andrew Innes was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum term of 36 years. The verdict, while bringing some closure to the family, highlighted the irreversible loss and ongoing grief suffered by Bennylyn and Jellica's relatives. The community and public were left to grapple with the brutal reality of the crime and the psychological complexities of the perpetrator. The story of Bennylyn and Jellica Burke is an awful and horrific case, one that has since left her family in a never-ending cycle of grief for the loss of two wonderful but ultimately vulnerable people who were exploited by those with malevolent intent. The they suffered, followed by their loss, highlights the importance of vigilance in online interactions and the profound deterioration of mental health when left unchecked. If you enjoyed this video, kindly leave a like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.